Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. My predecessor, a president, my predecessor, including my predecessor.
While Biden spent most of last night's State of the Union acting like Trump was Voldemort, he who must not be named, my next guest, who's also running for president, has a different vision for America.
A growing number of Americans are rejecting divisiveness. They're ready to unite, to rebuild this country, and to fulfill the promise of the America of my youth. They're ready to vote for something. That's the State of the Union that I want to bring you today. To rebuild, to end the forever foreign wars, to clean out the corrupt Washington establishment, and to turn again toward peace, freedom, good health, and prosperity.
Joining me now is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., 2024 independent presidential candidate. Robert, your reaction to Biden last night, especially going hard on Ukraine at the top and going all in on Putin's rolling through, Europe like Hitler, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah, I thought the speech in general, I agree with some of the commentators that you've had, that it was hyper-partisan, that it was more like President Biden, when he came in, promised to unify the country, that this was more of a campaign stump speech that you'd give to a kind of a red meat crowd during the last 2 weeks of the campaign, rather than the kind of statesmanlike and presidential unifying speech that we want to see and that the nation expects and that the world expects from the State of the Union address, where you want to see, you want something that inspires pride in our country and and all around the globe. This speech is listened to billions of people around the world, and we want to showcase the best of our country and not just make it a sort of a partisan slugfest. In terms of Ukraine, I disagree with the kind of comic book characterizations that President Biden has made. This is a war that should have been settled, and we now know because we now know from the Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, from the Turkish Premier Ahmed Erdogan, that peace agreement was initialed by both sides, by Zelensky and by Putin's side. That Putin was withdrawing troops from Kiev when President Biden sent Boris Johnson over there to force Zelensky to tear up this agreement. This was not about stopping Putin from rampaging across Europe. It is a war about the extension of NATO into Ukraine, which we should not be doing. Our greatest diplomats have condemned that. It was a mistake. President Biden did mention one issue that he has not mentioned before that I was very happy about, which is the housing crisis in this country. The fact that young people can't get into a home. His solution, however, I think was I would say a cynical solution, which is a $10,000 gift over the next 2 years. In other words, from now to the election.
Right. Well, the problem, Robert, not to interrupt, but the problem is inflation. I mean,
of course,
rents have been high for some time, but they skyrocketed when he could have just opened the economy in January 2021, and we would have been off to the races. But instead, he borrowed trillions of dollars more, printed a lot more money. That helped drive inflation and drove up the cost of everything. So it's easy for him to say now, oh, inflation's high, we got to do things. But his policies are the primary driver right now of the cost of rent and every other thing that people buy. And he didn't really want to touch any of that.
No, I would agree with you. We've now got a $34 trillion debt, and over the last 100 days, we've added $1 trillion to that, and that is unsustainable. We're now paying more the service on that debt than we are for our military budget. And if interest rates grow up, within 10 years, we will be paying basically every dollar collected on taxes could conceivably be going to service the debt. And, there's nobody who is taking this problem seriously. the big issue, and you're right about inflation contributing to the price of a housing stock, Laura. The housing stock is going up faster than anybody else, and it's a systemic problem. And a lot of it has to do with these big Democratic donors, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Blackstone, Fidelity Group, which own 88% of the S&P 500 and are now targeting single-family homes.
Oh, yeah.
There is legislation on Capitol Hill to stop those investment houses from purchasing single-family homes. We need to do that. That is a systemic fix, rather than the short-term fix that's going to drive this inflationary spiral and drive us further into debt.
Robert, it's always great to see you. We're not going to play any sound bites about people who say you don't have any chance because you're scaring everybody out there. We really appreciate your voice tonight. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.